Hello, bullfrogs. I hope you are having a fantastic snow day, ice day, dreary day, but I hope it's warm inside and that you are enjoying the time off. Miss seeing you this morning, and I hope you're going to have a good week, and we'll see you next week. But before we see you next week, I have a few assignments for you to do. This last week, you were finding credible sources for your scientists, and I hope that you had good luck doing that. If you were not able to find credible sources for your scientists, please have your parent message me so that we can go ahead and get that around for you. All right. Well, today you're going to need, for this week's assignment, you're going to need some plain printer paper, marker, your Post-it notes, and a pen or pencil, something reliable to write with. Okay. When we examine information on a topic, or in this case on our scientists, we use what you have probably used since you were in kindergarten, the 5 W's and how. Our 5 W's are, you can say them with me, who, what, where, when, why, and how. And those 5 questions and how allow us to pull out all of the really important information that we need to know about a topic or a person, in this case, our scientists. So on your printer paper, you're going to write those questions. Give yourself enough space between each of your questions to be able to put some answers to those questions. So we have who, when, where, what. See, lots of space. Why, how, and on the back, make sure that you list a place for your sources. So I thought that I would demonstrate some of that for you. This is a book that we have in our own library called Clara Barton, founder of the American Red Cross. It took me probably half an hour to go through this book and find the answers to our 5 W's, who, what, where, when, why, and how. It may take you a little longer. I have read this book a few times, so it was easy to go through. What you may consider doing is reading your book through or your source through once or twice, and then going through with your sticky notes and answering some of your 5 W's and how. How you do that is up to you, whatever works easiest. So my source is Clara Barton. It is written by Barbara Somerville, and I just went ahead and checked on after the title page, we have the copyright page, and I went ahead and found down here that the copyright is 2007. We know that this is a credible source. It has resources in the back, places that they found other information from, places that we can find more information about Clara Barton at. And the author is a credible author. The copyright is 2007, which is fairly current since she died in 1912. Nothing more exciting has happened in her life since then, so I know that 2007 is a recent source. So here's my sticky note. I wrote the title, the author, I wrote the copyright date, just to give myself the assurance that I know that it's current. So here under sources, I'm going to put my sticky note on this book. Some of you may have multiple books or multiple websites. Go ahead and write one sticky note for each one of those sources and put it on your source page. Now, just looking at the title, I already know who. Who is Clara Barton? So I wrote that on a sticky note. And I'm going to find my bubble that says who. And I'm going to put my sticky note there. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to write the name of your scientist, if you didn't write it already last week on a sticky note. And you're going to put it under the question who. Great. Question answered. Moving on. As I went through the book and I wrote notes to myself on my sticky notes. I wrote, she was born December 25th, 1821. Her full name is Clarissa Harlow Barton. That's a great name. That's a good detail. Also, It's a when. When was she born? So I'm going to find my bubble that says where, nope, where, when. You all saw that, didn't you? All right. When? Great. She was born in 1821. And as I went through my book, if I found things were interesting, like she was born in Oxford, Massachusetts. Well, that's a where. I'm going to stick my sticky note under where. And I kept reading and saw, well, she became a school teacher. That's a what? That's a what? It's not necessarily a why, but it is a what. What did she do? She became a school teacher. Oh, that's good to know. I'm going to keep going. In 1852, she taught in New Jersey. Well, that's a where and a what, so I'll just stick it right between the two, I think. As I kept going through, I kept finding interesting dates and places. I paid attention to what she did, when she did it, and in 1861, I realized that she started nursing at the same time that the Civil War broke out. And so I wondered, why? And it says in my book, she wanted to be a helper. She saw people in need. She saw that there was a need, and she knew that she could make a difference, even if it was in a small way of serving people soup or tearing up bandages that needed to be torn up. She saw a need and stepped into it. So her why, which I didn't write down, so I'm going to grab my Post-it note now. Her why was she saw soldiers suffering and wanted to help. You don't have to have your neatest writing, but you should be able to read it when you come back to it. So I'm going to put this on my why. Why did she start nursing? Because she saw people in need. That was her why. So that's the same process that you're going to use as you go through your book or your website. Just write yourself a little sticky note with dates, with what, with where. If you notice a why, go ahead and write that down. Sometimes it helps to write on the Post-it note, why? Well, there was little to no care for the soldiers. And she thought that wasn't right. The system of battlefield medicine wasn't working. She thought she could make a difference. She thought she had some solutions. And boy, did she ever. So here's another why. And I'm going to sort that into why. Okay, so as you go through your sources, you can right away put your sticky notes on here, or you can just put them on the book like I did here as you go through. And then once you're done going through your book, go back through and sort them into which question does that fact answer. So there are two ways that you can go about that. If that's not clear, you have questions, please go ahead. You can give me a call or you can have your parents message me. Either way, I would be happy to answer any questions that you have if this isn't quite clear. So your assignment this week is to get started on your sources. You need to write a couple of papers out that say who, what, where, when, why, and how, and sources. You can write down your sources on sticky notes and sit them to your paper. And you can start answering some of those questions by reading in your book. When we come together next week, you should have something that looks like this. It doesn't have to be as crazy. It can be neater. It can be more artful. However you would like to put these on, you need to have 2 papers or 3 papers, however many papers you need, with Post-it notes on them, answering the 5 questions. Do you have to go through every single source? No, you should have at least gone through one source for next week, found sticky note answers to our 5 W's and how, and we will be able to review those next week together. If you have any questions, go ahead and contact me, and good luck and happy studying, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys.